The following program is the work of the broadcast students at the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT Magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland which were produced over the last week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their instructors.
Coming up on BCIT Magazine, BC kids are supporting a Vancouver councillor's climate change plan.
We learn about the diet and lifestyle changes of Veganuary.
And the continuation of the Wet'suwet'en protest.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Sahil Morar.
And I'm Sean Holden. Anger towards the newly signed Wet'suwet'en pipeline agreement has led to crowds gathering in Vancouver's Victory Square. My co-anchor Sahil Morar has the story.
If we stand together, they will lose.
Children as young as 5 gathered in an emotional Wet'suwet'en pipeline protest in Vancouver. The protest was in support of a Wet'suwet'en camp near Smithers that blocked Coastal GasLink workers from building the proposed LNG pipeline.
That's what I want to do for my people today. I want to bring the land back to children and the peace back to our people.
Some protesters still believe that Coastal GasLink has not received the proper permission to act on the pipeline.
The issue is Coastal GasLink has received consent from the bands and the band structure according to the Indian Act, but the hereditary chiefs, the traditional heads of the Wet'suwet'en clans and the Wet'suwet'en culture still have not consented.
The interim agreement was made between hereditary chiefs and the RCMP to lift a blockade.
The agreement allowed for access by the company across the Maurice River Bridge by the Unistoten Healing Center. As well, the ability for the temporary exclusion zone to be removed.
Boudreau says unless real reconciliation is made, there is no end in sight.
Either this pipeline is going to get built or not get built. There's no middle ground here. But there's a larger question of how do you literally reconcile those differing legal systems going forward.
Sahil Morar in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine. A Vancouver City Councillor is proposing a motion to declare a state of climate emergency. But as my co-anchor Sean Holden discovers, the motion has some young supporters.
Brilliant. High schoolers are spending hours on banners instead of homework to rally behind a proposed city council motion. 11th grader Rebecca Hamilton says she wants the city to declare a climate emergency.
And every day that we don't take action means a worse future for our generation and for generations to follow. And that's really scary, I think, as like a young person to have to grow up knowing that like our future is so endangered.
She and hundreds of other students across the country will be pushing local governments to do more to address climate targets. Environmental activist group Force of Nature supports the action.
The youth are skipping school and they're showing up to council because there's a choice to be made. There's a climate emergency. It's not a debate anymore. So you can either take action or you can't.
City Councillor Christine Boyles proposed the motion to declare a climate emergency. The motion aims to reduce Vancouver's contribution to greenhouse gases and extreme weather events.
A lot of emissions in the city come from transportation, a lot come from buildings. Looking at approaches in all of those sectors, I think there's an understanding of the issue and the impacts of it that among young people that's pretty deep because the timelines are so clear that these impacts will happen in their lifetime.
And Hamilton couldn't agree more.
Like I want to be focused on school and like on friends and stuff, not on like the future of civilization.
Sean Holden in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
It's Veganuary, a term coined by vegans in 2014 to encourage people to learn more about the diet and lifestyle. But is the trend catching on? Our reporter Hayder Nayani reports.
Going vegan might seem like a simple diet decision for some, but according to Zoe Pellet, founder of the Vancouver Vegan Resource Centre, it's really an ethical one.
It is not necessary in any capacity, way, shape, or form for us to use animals for our food, for our fashion, and in all the other parts of our life.
Pellet is spending her Saturday here at a vegan pop-up shop, a space she says was designed to welcome anyone who wants to have a conversation about veganism.
You don't necessarily need to eat meat to get the nutrients and nutrition.
So I'm not a vegan, but I do think it's a great thing to do for the environment. I like those impacts. Also if you're an animal activist, but I don't agree with it as a health alternative.
But I think everyone should partake in it. I think there's other ways to get the minerals or nutrients. For now, there's not other ways for the taste.
So is a vegan diet healthy? According to HealthLink BC, it can be. In fact, they say vegans on average weigh less than people who eat meat, are less likely to die of heart disease, and have lower cholesterol levels. Though HealthLink BC does point out the need to pay special attention to your calcium, vitamin D, and iron levels if you go vegan. Vancouver ranks 4th in the world for interest in veganism, according to a recent report, and Pellet has seen this growth in interest firsthand.
If you go to Safeway, if you go to Bilo, if you go to any of those places to buy your groceries, it's literally as easy as saying, okay, the dairy milk is on this side and the almond milk is right next to it. I'm going to reach for that one instead.
Hayder Nayani, BCIT Magazine.
We're now joined by our reporter Hayder. What obstacles stop people from going vegan?
I think one of the biggest concerns raised was just the inconvenience of veganism. It's hard to regularly eat vegan and find food that fits the diet. But this is changing. The number of meatless restaurants in Canada is growing, and some big fast food chains such as A&W are also releasing meatless options such as the Beyond Meat burger. One thing's for sure, the meat industry is worried. Back to you.
Thanks, Hayder.
Police investigators have ruled out impaired driving as a possible cause to the crash of a double-decker bus in Ottawa. 3 people died and 23 more people were injured. The police have not released the name of the driver.
The mayor of Gdansk, Poland, was stabbed to death while on stage at a charity event on Sunday. Paweł Adamowicz was known as a left-leaning politician, and the attack was allegedly politically motivated.
Coming up after the break, a group of UBC students are teaching kids how to code.
And we check out a teen's special birthday celebration on the downtown east side.
The most rewarding thing for me has been the relationships I developed in the program, both with instructors and classmates.
My sense of confidence has never been higher. I mean, this program's offered great opportunities to be in real world, real industry situations, and being in those moments and knowing I can contribute, I can do this.
It's exciting to be in this industry and to meet lots of great people and to make amazing friends.
BCIT Broadcast and Online Journalism, realizing your potential.
We are already 2 weeks into 2019 and we're already looking up to the skies for relief. But this Sunday, you should be looking for the moon.
The McMillan Space Center is hosting a lunar eclipse viewing party. From 8:40 to 9:15, you'll be able to see through their telescope the super blood moon eclipse. Or if you want to have a nice meal while taking in the eclipse, why not try Grouse Mountain, which is participating in Dine Out Vancouver Festival between January 18th and February 3rd. You can enjoy a fine dining 3-course menu for $45 at an award-winning dining room.
And recapture the excitement of the holiday season. The Capilano Suspension Bridge is extending its Canyon Holiday Lights Festival until January 27th. That was your community calendar for January 17th. Enjoy your weekend.
On Sunday night, we will see a super blood moon. Our producer Michael Beck spoke with an SFU professor to find out more about it.
All right, so we're here today with SFU professor Howard Trottier in the physics department. You are an astronomer by trade as well, I believe?
So actually I'm a particle physicist. Think Sheldon of the Big Bang Theory, only I'm not remotely as smart as he is, but I have better social skills.
Okay, so this coming weekend then we are seeing a lunar eclipse. So what exactly does that mean?
Okay, so the moon goes into the Earth's shadow. And so as the moon goes through its orbit, progressively it'll get darker and darker. And so there's two kinds of shadow. There's a lighter shadow called the penumbral shadow and a darker one, umbral shadow. And you'll see that the moon will very gradually get darker and darker and then get much darker as it heads into the dark shadow. Big surprise is that it can turn colors. It can turn red if the conditions are right.
And there are these fancy names kind of attached to this eclipse, so why would it be changing those colors? What kind of causes that?
Right, so you think it would go completely dark since it's in the Earth's shadow, but sunlight can travel through the Earth's atmosphere and get bent in, so like going through a lens, refracted in and land on the moon. And so when the light goes through the Earth's atmosphere, it gets reddened. And so this is basically like you'll see a red sun sometimes at sunset or at sunrise. So if the conditions are right, that red light will land on the moon and give it a kind of a very faint orange or red glow. And that's the light from all the sunrises and all the sunsets happening all around the world at that moment.
Okay, so here at your observatory, here at SFU, the Trottier Observatory, is there any plans for any viewing party for that, for this coming event?
We will. So we're partnering with a local group of amateur astronomers, the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada. And so they'll set up telescopes on the plaza and the observatory will be open from 7 to 10. The best time to see the eclipse is starting around 7:30 when the moon will get noticeably dark. And then totality, when it's fully immersed in the Earth's dark shadow, is about 8:45. 7 to 10 will sort of cover the best part of it.
Okay, and then how often do lunar eclipses happen?
Okay, so you think it might happen every month because it goes around the Earth, and why doesn't it enter the Earth's shadow once every month at full moon? And the reason is that the moon's orbit is tilted. And so usually it's either going above or below the shadow. So it depends on the geometry. So typically once or twice a year, the lineup will be perfect and it will go through the shadow. And so this time we get it January 20th.
Excellent. Is there any other major points you'd want just the regular public to know about eclipses or the moon? Or?
Okay, so to see by eyeball is really nice because you get the whole sky, and you have to be prepared for the fact that the moon might just get sort of a dull grayish color. The red is not always there. Binoculars are very good. Telescopes less so because you zoom in kind of too close and you don't see the whole thing. So if you have a pair of binoculars, that's really the best way to see it, that and by eye.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I think that's all the time we need. Professor Trottier, thank you so much.
Mike, thanks so much for having me.
Okay. Back to you guys.
Some UBC students are helping teach children that are within the autism spectrum find a passion for coding and technology. Our reporter Natalia Cuevas-Huayco has the story.
Opening up computer modems and dissecting each piece inside is a regular activity in this workshop. The workshop aims to teach highly sought-after skills in the workplace. Workshop attendees are taught how to create their own websites using user-friendly programs at their own pace.
I was working on HTML and it was so fun because I could do Merkle and fool around sometimes.
The Code Initiative's main goal is to create an environment that highlights the kids' abilities and motivates them.
Cutter shape to it, and if you don't fit in through that, then you're automatically discouraged from pursuing post-secondary education. You might be discouraged from even going through school.
Bahar also strives to provide a one-to-one teacher-to-student ratio that many of these students need to thrive.
And that's why we wanted to kind of spark that passion at them from a young age so that they can later on go, and if they know this and they know, for example, a little bit of a text-based language, they can go and pick up Java and be like, you know what, I know how to do this. I just need to learn the syntax of the language, but I know everything else that goes into it.
The kids also get a chance to interact with their peers in the classroom.
This kind of programs is exactly what we need, you know. They make a big difference in the techno company, children in the spectrum. And there are many of them that can do many things, you know, and some of them are bright.
At the end of the session, the children left feeling extremely capable and fulfilled.
This is called Baram.
I'm Natalia Cuevas-Waiko in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
This one, like using this.
Natalia joins us now. What sort of software are they being taught at this workshop?
One of the programs the kids learn how to use is Scratch. Scratch is a block-based program that is super easy to use. It has minimal text and is very visual. Bahar says this is perfect for the kids because they are able to practice their motor skills and are often very motivated by the bright colors.
And so, how much does the workshop cost?
The workshop spans over 3 weeks and costs $100. Nicholas's mother says this is a bargain in comparison to other programs around the city that average at $2,000. She says it meets all her needs considering that she only receives $6,000 a year to use towards autism-related services. Back to you.
Thanks, Natalia. Vancouver has thousands of homeless people living on the streets, struggling to get everyday basic needs. One young girl has decided to share her special day to make theirs a little bit easier. Take a look.
It's sometimes scary to see them here and wonder how they live like this. Things from my family when I was younger, and I used to drive here and walk on the streets here a lot and see that people didn't have much, so I wanted to make them feel happy and get some things that they don't usually get every day.
I want more youth to be inspired to donate, whether it's their birthday or a happy moment, or just to remember to come and connect to the people in the downtown east side. And it's very simple. It doesn't take a lot of big organizations such as this. I think just coming down here and sharing your love and sharing a smile, that makes a huge difference. So I encourage more youth to come.
Yes, one thing is, when they take one jacket, this jacket for me, I keep in my home. And I say every day I look my jacket. This jacket, God send somebody to feed me.
Just hearing and seeing them all happy when they get food and clothes and everything. It makes me feel happy.
It's been a wild week for Marvel with the release of Captain Marvel and Spider-Man's Far From Home trailers. My friendly neighborhood co-anchor Sahil Marar hit the streets to talk everything Spidey.
Marvel's rising stars, Tom Holland and Zendaya, have dropped their tweets about the new Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. The movie follows Peter and MJ through Europe on a class tour. All seems well until a special appearance is made and new enemies are introduced. We asked BCIT students who their favorite Spider-Man is.
If I had to choose one, it would definitely be Tobey Maguire. Classic is always the best. The first one's always the best. But I like all of them, really, I do.
Tom Holland is definitely my favorite Spider-Man.
I don't really like Andrew Garfield, and I think Tom Holland is really cute for a Spider-Man. But for my all-time favorite, definitely Tobey Maguire, hands down.
Oh man, Tom Holland. No, I take it back, Andrew Garfield.
There you have it. Check out the trailer online and tweet us at BCIT News and let us know who your favorite Spider-Man is.
That was your BCIT Magazine for this week. I'm Sean Holden.
And I'm Sahil Morar. We leave you now with a look at the entertainment at Ariana's birthday.